a lot of people who are planning to go to MBA or considering NCR have asked me the same question. And I don't think there's an exact answer. And what I always respond is just be yourself. Like going beyond your comfort zone is important. However, there is a limit. The core of you never changes wherever you go. And I think staying true to yourself and making new friends is really important. Because it's not just the short-term relationship. You're gonna see these people after graduation in different phases of your life. So I think being yourself is number one. Don't stretch too far from what you're comfortable with. And second is still go to a lot of socializing events. You can stay within your comfort bubble within a big socializing event. So always go attend different parties or events, but don't act like someone you're not or be uncomfortable.
Okay, hello, Un. So first, could you briefly introduce yourself to our subscribers?
Sure. Hello everyone, my name is Un and I'm a friend of Ina. I graduated from INSEAD MBA class of 2022D and I'm currently working at Microsoft Korea as an account tech strategist and I'm very excited to be here.
Okay, well, thank you for making time and it's my pleasure to have you in our show. So first of all, what year and where did you start your MBA?
I started my MBA in Singapore, INSEAD MBA class of 2022D. So I started in January of the year 2022 and graduated in December of the same year.
Oh, great. Actually, what was the life in Singapore? Could you roughly describe the life in Singapore?
It was very chill. Singapore is a very chill city in general, but also the food is great. I had experience living in Southeast Asia, so the weather, hot and humid weather, was okay for me. And the people are so nice. The people are very chill. There's a lot of diverse backgrounds in Singapore. And it's also very safe that was very important to me as a girl going to an MBA alone. So yeah, it's a very chill, safe, and fun city.
Wow, great. So there's so many things that I want to ask you, but first, today I asked you to show me several items that remind you of your MBA experience. So what items did you bring? Please show me the first item.
Sure. I think the first one I'll show you is my GMAT note.
Oh, that's so cute. A lot of stickers on it.
I brought this because I think this was the first time I studied academically after 6 years of my first career. So I think that was a very pivotal point in starting an MBA. It was my first stepping stone into my MBA journey. And looking back into it, I was so surprised because I worked so hard.
Oh my god, you worked your ass off!
Yes, they're all color-coded. And yeah, it's just I'm very proud of these notes. I don't think I can make them anymore. But yeah, and looking back, it was very important to me. I think a lot of skills that I learned during the GMAT are very useful during the MBA classroom environment, as well as my career afterwards. So I know during studying the MBA, the GMAT is a torture. It's a nightmare. It was for me as well, but looking back, it's very useful.
Oh, great. So you studied GMAT while you're working. Were you on LOA?
What's an LOA?
Leave of absence, 휴직?
Yes. So I did leave of absence for a month, I think, a little over a month, and I did study before and after my leave as well. So yes.
Oh yeah. So do you have any tips for working professionals who are studying the GMAT?
I'm not sure. In my experience, I think studying in a very short amount of time is very important for the GMAT. So if you only get 1 hour of study every day and you study that for 6 months, I don't think that is as useful as studying like 4 hours a day for 1 month.
GMAT 몇 점이었는지 잠깐 물어봐도 되나요?
750점 받았습니다. 3번의 시도 이후.
몇 점이요?
750점.
몇 점이요?
750.
야, 그거를 맞는 사람이 진짜 있구나.
생각보다 많네. 받은 친구들도 많이 봤습니다. 보통은 700점 넘으면 다 GMAT은 괜찮은 걸로 판단을 하고 650도 더 넘었어요.
Okay, let's move on to the second
Moving on.
item. No, let's move on.
I brought a keychain from Singapore Raffles Hotel.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's also very famous for their bar and their Singapore sling.
Mm-hmm.
I brought this because I think the bar culture in Singapore is very exciting for me. I'm not an avid drinker, but I think it really helps in socializing with new friends, new colleagues, and the cocktails there are just so good. Personally, I really enjoyed drinking 1 or 2 cocktails while meeting new friends, and I think that's a culture that's very important in an MBA. I'm not an extrovert personally, so
I know.
using alcohol in really lavish environments was very helpful.
Oh, yeah, so I also heard that wider networking is some purpose of the MBA too, right? So do you have any tips for networking effectively in MBA?
So a lot of people who are planning to go to MBA or considering NCR have asked me the same question. And I don't think there's an exact answer. And what I always respond is just be yourself. Like going beyond your comfort zone is important. However, there is a limit. The core of you never changes wherever you go. And I think staying true to yourself and making new friends is really important. Because it's not just a short-term relationship. You're gonna see these people after graduation in different phases of your life. So I think being yourself is number one. Don't stretch too far from what you're comfortable with. And second is still go to a lot of socializing events. You can stay within your comfort bubble within a big socializing event. So always go attend different parties or events, but don't act like someone you're not or be uncomfortable.
Yeah. So what are the next items?
Yeah.
주섬주섬.
I think the third one I'll introduce is the Wharton cap.
Oh wow.
I'm not an official Wharton MBA graduate, but I was there for about 3 months as an exchange student. It's very short and there's a lot of restrictions on what kind of classes you can take and how many friends you can make in such a short time. But it was still a very good experience in that I could get a sense, get a sniff of what a US MBA classroom environment was, how the students there interact with each other. And it was just really fun for me because US is such a good country to shop. And that's one of the only sole hobbies I have. So going around different outlets, different shopping malls, and even the Wharton merchandise store, the Kip store, was where I was the most during my time there. So it was a really good experience. I had a blast there.
Yeah, did you notice any difference from Singapore MBA program and the US MBA program?
The students are very diverse in the US as well, but the classroom dynamics are very, skewed towards the more active students. In the US, they're much, I think, more confident, more loud, they're more voicing their opinions. And the cases that are dealt with within the classes are usually US based. And I think that was a good experience for me as an exchange student to experience the US cases there. And back in INSEAD, it's more global based. So there are a lot of cases from Southeast Asia, from Africa, and also from Europe. And I think it depends on what you want, right? And for me, I think it was an interesting experience to get both.
Well, I don't think like every MBA students will get the opportunity to go to an exchange student to Wharton. So what were the conditions to go to the Wharton as an exchange student?
It's a combination of the grade you got during your first semester, as well as how many points you bid. So there's a bidding system at INSEAD for every elective and also exchange program and campus exchange programs. So if you really want to go, you can use all 200 points, which makes you with a higher chance of getting it.
Ah, I see. 왜 이렇게 가서도 열심히 살았어?
It's a never-ending journey, 언니. It's always uphill.
아 너무 빡세. 난 MBA 실험한다고 들었는데 너무 빡센 것
아니야.
같아요.
그거 말고는 근데 즐거워요. 대부분은 즐겁고 이제 요런 이제 가끔씩 한 하루 이틀 정도 빡세게 준비만 하면 즐겁게 보내실 수 있습니다.
네, 언제나 빡셀 것 같으신 분이 하는 말씀 잘 듣겠습니다. Okay, now let's move on to the next item. So what are the other items that you brought?
I brought my concealer. The normal concealer from Tarte.
약간 뷰티 유튜버처럼 해줘.
Is this the way you do it?
Yeah. So why did you bring that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an avid makeup person in general, so it was COVID in the start of 2022. So all the interviews, all the coffee chats, all the networking were mostly virtual. So it was all through Zoom, Teams.
The big advantage of a virtual call is that your skin, your face is a little blurry, right? So I didn't have to use like a whole makeup face on, so I just used the concealer to finish my interviews, which was, and looking back, I think it was really important to me. Whenever I look at a concealer, I remember all the nerves I got for the interviews, so I brought it.
Are you meaning like the interview with the conglomerates or the company, or the interview with the professors?
I think both. So number one was job interviews for internships and full-time jobs. And second was for coffee chats with alumni, which is kind of like a job interview. And a lot of students at MBA have coffee chats, right? So
Oh, so when you started your MBA, you quitted your previous job and then you started your MBA. So how did you start like finding the job after the MBA program?
it depends on what kind of industry you want. For consulting and banking, there are certain times at a year where there's like a admission. But
공채? Like 공채?
yeah,
MBA 공채?
yes. And for me, I was looking into big tech, right? So they didn't really have a 공채 process. They were actually going through a lot of hiring freezes. So I was very kind of hectic. I started very early. So I was graduating December, but I started looking for jobs in August. And I just looked into their company job posts. And I also got help from the INSEAD career coaches on my resume interview prep.
I had a round of interviews during August and September, and then I got my offer in October.
Like the final offer
Yeah.
for your next job.
Yes.
But I also knew that you had your summer internship during your MBA, right? What was it about?
I looked for, yet again, a tech internship, but I looked for it again early. So I searched for it before entering the program. So I searched for my summer internship in December and applied through the job post that came through the school. Because after you get admitted, you get emails from your school regarding job opportunities. And there was a job post for TikTok. And since it's a tech company and also very prominent in Singapore and Asia, I applied and got the job in January.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it later when we do the Q&A session. And good for you, like a very good utilization of the concealer. Okay, so what's the next item? It's so interesting.
I brought my laptop because it's very special. It's my MBA laptop. I bought it before going to Singapore. And I brought this because I actually broke it. If you see here, it's a little crooked. And the on and off button is gone. I mean, it's still functioning, but it's very broken here. And I broke it actually during my time at Wharton.
Oh, so during your exchange.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for my first class at Wharton, I dropped the laptop and it didn't work at the time. I couldn't turn it on or off. And I was kind of lost because at INSEAD, you're not allowed to use laptops in classrooms. I mean, it's a soft rule that they don't really recommend using laptops. But in Wharton, laptops are kind of mandatory. Everyone has a laptop during class. And I broke it on my first class at Wharton. So I was lost. I was like, should I fix it? It's gonna take about 2 weeks, which is too long. But fortunately, my housemate, Terry,
Hey Terry!
she had a second laptop for some reason that she wasn't using. So I borrowed hers for about a month, I think, or 2 months, most of my time there. And then I fixed it right before I left. So yeah.
You know, it makes a sound when I open and close, but it still works. And it has a lot of memories from my MBA, so I can't really throw it away, I think.
Yeah, I can hear the sound. Are there any essential items to bring when you go to the MBA? Because you can't just bring one laptop because you need to have a lot of other 생필품, 준비물. Yeah. So what should I definitely bring if I go to the MBA?
That's a hard question. Not necessarily bring, but what you definitely need at Singapore living there is bug spray.
Ah.
Because there's a lot of bugs, but also a lot of small lizards that come into your room, right? And I just can't live with a lizard in my house, so I had it as an emergency. But yes, it's 생필품.
So that was great. So do you have any other stuff that you want to show to me, or was
No,
it
I think
all?
that's all I brought.
Thank you so much, Eun, for sharing your items and sharing your experiences. And let's move to another space and have a short Q&A session all together, right?
Sure.
Could you wanna say bye to our subscribers?
Bye everyone. Hope you enjoyed it.
Great. 너무 잘하는데? 귀여워. Let's talk about your summer internship. You had your summer internship at TikTok.
Yes.
So how was the journey at TikTok?
It was very exciting because it was my first job after my first 6 years in consulting.
Yeah, compare the life of the consulting in Korea and the TikTok. 얼마나 빡세?
I think it depends on different projects, but on average, I would say like
After your MBA. So where are you currently working at?
right now I'm working at Microsoft Korea office as an account technology strategist.
쫓기는 그런 게 없어 보여. 너무 편해 보여.
I'm definitely less stressed. There's less human stress I get, like a lot of social stress I used to get. I don't get anymore.
What do you think is the most significant thing that you gained from your MBA experience?
Such a big question.
Take your time.
I think the most